thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast, man. And before we start, man, I just want to say like, share, subscribe to the channel. Help your boy get monetized. I'm trying to reach the monetization milestone, and I got a little ways to go, but with your help, I can get there. And I truly do appreciate everybody that has been tapping in as of late, and I'm loving it, man. I can't complain. So today, man, we're going to talk about a few things, man. Last night, man, you know, that's why I can't wait to really get to a point where I can focus on doing this full time, because, you know, I be really wanting to edit and, you know, really get busy with these videos that I be doing, but it's really hard to try to maintain work and everything else that I'm doing, and also do podcasts. That's why you'll see me reuse a lot of people's content that they're using, because they're doing videos on things that I want to talk about, and their videos are great, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, I also believe in, you know, making your own content and editing it and doing the work. But it's really hard for me to do that right now. So, you know, I do what I can with what I can, you know. And at the end of the day, I always shout out the content that I do use and the people that I use it from, because at the end of the day, you got to show respect, even if it's people that I may disagree with. It doesn't matter. If I get content from their page, I'm going to put it in my description, and also I'm going to shout them out. So today we're going to talk about Destiny. This dude has been doing a lot of ranting, and it just, all of this stuff that's going on right now, obviously surrounding Charlie Kirk, but also just everything. Like, we're in a time of straight chaos. And I sit back and I think to myself, like, this is what they want. This is why I made the video the other day about being a slave to the party. You know what I'm saying? And this is what it's all about. Everybody in America is being a slave. Not saying everybody, but a lot of Americans are being a slave to either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. And it's causing so much division that people aren't seeing the real play, you know? And I went down this rabbit hole last night, and I'm not going to, I ain't going to go into it today, but hopefully I do sometime in this upcoming week, because there's been a lot of, and Candace Owens, and in matter of fact, we're gonna play something tomorrow, because Candace Owens is going live soon. You should watch it. I know she's gonna play some of the things I've seen, some of the things that a lot of people have probably seen surrounding this whole Charlie Kirk situation, about, you know, him, it possibly being more people involved, which people have already said. And then, you know, the video, people are breaking this video down, and they are showing so much information that is so crazy. And then you just got to ask yourself, you know, if this guy that they arrested isn't the guy, then this whole situation is about to get crazy, because it's exposing so much. And yo, I said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. Social media, technology, AI, all of the things that has evolved today is going to be the downfall to so much, because you can no longer just do things like assassinate a prominent influencer like a Charlie Kirk, or anyone for that matter, no matter if they're on the left, the right, center, doesn't matter. And there's not going to be a bunch of people breaking it down, really going through the evidence and finding holes in these stories. And I've been seeing so much that I'm like, yo, this thing is wide open. And Candace Owens is another person who is putting her life on the line for real, and exposing all of these things. And it's wild, man. It's getting wild, bro. And as much as it's content, it's just sad, bro. To be honest, man, it's sad to see what's going on, man, because it's so much. It's just destruction, bro. And you see these, I'm gonna show these protests that they having again with ICE. It's so funny seeing these people, because all I think about is all of the black men and women that are arrested, that are locked up behind bars all across this nation. And you don't see any of these leftists in any of these prisons fighting for any of these people about nothing, you know? And it's sad to see a lot of these black so-called, figures that represent the black people and the black community, but yet they look right past all the crime that's going on in the inner cities, all of the black bodies that's dropping on a daily basis, and all of the black bodies that are in jail. They don't really care about us, dog. They don't care about, people rehabilitation. None of this shit. They love this shit. They love it, bro. You gotta, I don't know, bro. It's so weird. I've been seeing so many videos, bro, that just open my eyes to so much. And this is the reason why I'm not a slave to no party, bro. Do I like some of the things that Trump do? Yeah. Did I like, I can say that about anybody, though. You know what I'm saying? But overall, bro, this shit is bigger than politics, bro. But yeah, man, it's getting crazy, man. You see people, and I want to say another thing too, bro, because I've been seeing so much, and listen, what you believe in, that shit, like nobody can stop you from believing what you believe in. The thing that I dislike about, for instance, Officer Tatum, right? I like a lot of his content, but the one thing I dislike about him is that he talks about, leftists and all of these people being programmed to, to hate Republicans or whatever the case may be. But yet I see him spew so much hate against Muslims. Right? Now, mind you, most Americans are brainwashed to Islam and their religion, right? Now, mind you, I'm only speaking on this because I'm Muslim, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the best Muslim, because I'm not. I fall short like everybody else, right? But it just makes me mad because, like, listen, bro, if you're a Christian, cool, fine. It's not wrong. It's not what I believe in, but at the same time, I'm not going to crucify you or say you're following the wrong this or the wrong. Like, that's what you believe in. At the end of the day, bro, none of us truly know, that's why it's called faith, because we're all blindly hoping that we're following the right faith. You know what I'm saying? But to just act like for 100% for sure that what you're following is the end all be all, come on, bro, stop. And then on top of that, this is my thing. I love America. I live in America, and I wouldn't want to live nowhere else, right? But at the same time, don't act like America's hands is clean, bro. They sit there and crucify Muslims, and they have put this label of terrorist on them. But that's not the case, bro, for Muslims, bro. It's just not. It's not. The same way you have good people and bad people in Christianity and every other religion, it's the same thing for Islam and, and Muslims. It's the same thing. You got bad people, you got good people in every walk of life. But people have in America, and it's funny because they say it's a war on Christianity. No, it's been a war on Islam and the Muslim culture forever. Forever. You know what I'm saying? That's why they tell you, man, believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, man, because, you see all the stuff going on with Israel and Palestine and all of this stuff with Gaza. And, bro, this stuff is way bigger than what people think, man. And, we just falsely believe in, like, everything you hear. It's, like, wild to me, But, I just wanted to say, bro, like, believe in what you believe in. Like, but don't sit there and try to make it seem like, all Muslims are terrorists and all Muslims are. Because if you go to any of these Arabic countries and you ask them how they feel about America, they would call America terrorists. Let's be honest. If you're being honest with yourself, that's what it would be. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, bro. They would call America terrorists, bro. So at the end of the day, believe in what you believe in, dog, but keep it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you believe Jesus Christ died for your sins and all of that stuff, that's what you believe in. It's people out here that don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? But I see people, acting like, I don't know, man. I don't even really, this is why I don't even like getting into them, because it's really, dog, you're gonna believe in what you believe in regardless. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even gonna make a difference. That's why I don't even like bringing stuff like that up. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what, nobody could concrete say that their religion, including me, can say, this is why it's called faith, and this is why, you do your research and you learn and you come up to the conclusion. Most of these people have never even picked up a Quran, never even been to a mosque, never even took the time a day to even study any other religion outside of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. That's your choice. But for a person like me who has studied Christianity, who has been to Kingdom Halls with Jehovah's Witnesses, who has been to temples with Nation of Islam and the Fruit of Islam, and been in a mosque, been in a masjid, and I've read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I've read the Quran. I've even read the Torah. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think for you to, first of all, even speak on it, you gotta have an open mind. I'm not saying that you have to believe in another religion or anything. I'm just saying that don't speak on something if you don't know it. Because Islam is a beautiful religion, and it's nothing what people try to make it out to be. And it just pisses me off seeing, and I respect people and their opinions on things, but it comes a point where you just like, bro, people are so brainwashed. It's crazy, bro. But anyway, man, let's get on to, this is a clip of these ICE protests going on, I believe in Chicago. I believe they're going on in Chicago. These protests are so stupid, bro.
This video coming into our newsroom. Federal authorities clashing with protesters today at an ICE processing center in suburban Chicago, deploying tear gas canisters at one point as vehicles attempted to exit and enter the parking lot. Now, the protests.
Notice what you see, right? Notice what you see. If you look, right, you'll see these people all the way in the left. Obviously people got their phones out. You're going to see cameramen and all of it, because it's all a show. It's all a show, bro. It's all a show. It's a spectacle. They want to do any and everything to make Trump's administration look bad and demonize them no matter what. Like, these people are crazy, bro.
As ICE is in the middle of Operation Midway Blitz, that is part of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. And News Nation correspondent Allie Bradley is live at the immigration facility outside of Chicago. Allie, what's been happening there?
Yeah, hey, Natasha. Things have flared up here a couple times this morning. Right now, things are pretty calm, but there is a Border Patrol vehicle inside of that facility that just dropped off some illegal immigrants that they apprehended on targeted enforcement operations this morning. So we're kind of waiting for them to come out because every time a vehicle comes out of that facility, tensions really flare up. So we've seen that happen over and over this morning. At one point, an individual stood in front of one of the government vehicles, got on top of the hood of that vehicle. That's when we were seeing tear gas and pepper balls deployed down here. Things really heightened at one point, escalating. But right now, as you can see, there's probably only about 30 to 40 individuals still out here. DHS has come over the loudspeaker several times today, calling for an order of dispersal, saying these individuals are obstructing federal law enforcement from doing their job. Now, we actually heard from the lieutenant governor earlier today as well. She was out here saying there's no reason to disperse. They have every right to be out here peacefully protesting. But take a listen to what she had to say about why she was out here this morning.
Yo, if people are getting locked up because they're, assaulting these ICE officers, how is it peaceful, bro? If they're throwing tear gas and stuff and it's becoming a threatening moment, how are they being peaceful?
And I'm out here today with that same kind of spirit of speaking out and making it clear that this is a time for courage, and it's not just courage, it's action. And so I'm here with my neighbors to let them know I stand with them, and I want to not just speak, but I want to act.
Now, Natasha, we've certainly seen a lot of people who would be considered agitators out here that are going up to the fence, that are going kind of toe-to-toe with federal law enforcement, trying to stir up a problem. We've seen pepper spray deployed over the last 10 minutes of people that were just too close to that fence. Right now, again, there is a vehicle inside trying to make their way out, but they're kind of killing time in there right now because you can see this little crowd out here sitting down, trying to block the driveway. So it's going to be pretty tough for them to get out of here without using some kind of less lethal force. That is what the dispersal order called for as well, though, Natasha. They said, hey, if you don't disperse, we're going to use less lethal.
So, that's antagonizing. Like, come on, you stopping, you getting in the way of these people doing their job, bro. It's dumb. Yo, bro, this is probably one of the most stupidest issues that people fight on. Listen, bro. Yes, are we all in this world? And listen, bro, at the end of the day, bro, they have monetized and monopolized life. Conquered land, build buildings, houses, homes, businesses, and they monopolized it. It is what it is. It's the system now. They have put a system in place that it's just what it is. So you can either get with it, and go with it, or, bro, they're going to get you out the way. They're going to get you out the way. It just is what it is, bro. You are crying about undocumented, illegal immigrants, bro. Are they still human? Yes. Or do they deserve a chance at some point to come back in America and live the American dream? Yes, but it has to be legally. How is that's just like it's just like when Joe Biden was trying to say about college tuitions, trying to the forgiveness thing with the whole college thing. How is that right for everybody else who has went and got their education and then had to pay for it over 20 years span or however long it takes you to pay off that college tuition? How is that right? How is that fair? It's the same thing with illegal immigrants. They're here illegally, and on top of that, they're soaking up all of our resources as Americans. That's why these people are paid for. They're paid for, bro. There's no way in the world that you're cool with people who are not legally here to be here and soak up the resources, and you're fine with it. It's no way, bro. You're like, I just don't see them fighting like this for all the black people that are in jail, that have been there for decades.
Munitions, and we've seen that already once this morning. Natasha.
I appreciate you tracking all of that. And Allie, meanwhile, you also got an inside look at Operation Midway Blitz. You went on a ride along with officers. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we were out with Border Patrol yesterday morning where they apprehended 2 individuals. One of them was a target with a prior felony for counterfeit. So you can see this ICE SAR. We're going to go back to this scene really quick. You can see this federal vehicle, this government vehicle, attempting to get into this facility, and this is what has been happening. So we're going to walk a little bit closer. Come on, let's go this way. We're going to get a little bit closer here so we can see what's going on. We have another vehicle coming out right here. Watch out for this. So this vehicle is leaving right now.
About the way.
And now they've just popped a tire. So you can see this. They just slashed this tire right here of this government vehicle. You've got these guys up on the roof that have pepper ball launchers. This is going to be deployed. They've got that tire slashed here. So they have certainly taken matters into their own hands down here on the protest level, going from what was pretty calm and peaceful to, again, slashing tires, really creating these issues for these federal law enforcement officials. I mean, look up on the roof here. You got 3 guys now.
Hear what she said, creating these issues. They're creating the issues, right? But they'll get this footage and flip it and try to paint it and make it seem like these officers are not doing their job. They're masked men and they're kidnapping Americans.
With pepper ball launchers ready to respond to this crowd.
Big dummies.
Luckily, we didn't have tear gas or anything deployed right there, but let's get back to that ride-along because one of those guys was a target. He had that felony counterfeit conviction, but there was another guy in the car, too, that was arrested as well who would be considered collateral, somebody who was not a target but was here in the country illegally as well. Now, this apprehension, when all was told, from the moment they found their target to the moment they put cuffs on him, 4 minutes. And they say it was a textbook operation, something they want to see happen because it doesn't disrupt the community. It allows them to get in, get out, and do their job. Take a listen to what Border Patrol had to say about that apprehension.
Agents today proved what could happen when you do your homework, you target correctly, and the team works together in a seamless manner. They were able to take these subjects into custody within 4 minutes of being pulled over. It was a flawless execution on the operation, and it went well.
I'm going to bring you this video.
Big dummies. Big dummies, bro. And listen, bro, they deserve everything that they get, bro. They get locked up, fuck them. Who cares? You out there fighting for some dumb shit, bro. It's bigger pressing issues going on. And you out here fucking slashing tires, man. I get all them people just broke individuals. Broke, ain't got nothing but time. So they taking the money that, the George Soroses of the world are giving them. And they cool with that. They making a living off protesting. Hey, man, get it how you live. Fuck it. Anyway, let's get into Don Lemonhead on Peirs Morgan. Talking about a few different things. But if we know anything about Don, he's a fucking idiot. All right, let's get into it.
Hello and welcome. We begin with some breaking news. Woke is dead. The war on common sense is officially over. Cancelled celebrities are emerging from Twitter jail. Virtue signaling has been outlawed under punishment of mass ridicule. And we are finally free to call a spade a spade. So what was the cause of death? How did the silenced majority finally win? And what exactly is going to take its place? Woke is Dead is my definitive story on the rise and fall of woke, as well as the common sense heroes and PC villains who have dominated news and culture across 10 years of madness. It's also my personal roadmap back to a less divided world. A world where we can agree to disagree, where debate triumphs over censorship, and where common sense is king. You will be shocked by how much you agree with me.
Look, Peirs, I'm not here to argue over trans rights. I don't think it necessarily cut to the argument of common sense. I think they simply found an issue that they could capitalize on based on fear or some perceived religious value or what have you. So I'm not going to sit here and demonize trans people, trans women, or trans men because I just don't think that is fair and that is productive in this moment. I'm not going to go back and litigate why Donald Trump won and on the issue of trans. We simply disagree on that. I think it affects so few people. I think it was something that was blown out of proportion. And hold
on, he just said that this whole trans issue has been blown out of proportion. Bro, they putting books in elementary schools talking about, adult things, pornography. You got drag queens at elementary schools doing drag shows. What the fuck is he talking about? You got biological men knocking women out in boxing. The one volleyball girl who was playing against a dude, the nigga hit the ball so hard, just knocked her whole career out of her fucking body. Like, it's out of control, bro. I don't want to demonize the transgender people and the people that want to be trans. Like, shut the fuck up. Listen, bro, if you want to play dress up, dog, do that. Who gives a fuck? I don't. But when you talk about going in women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, when you talk about competing against women, that's where everybody has a problem. You're talking about, it's a minute issue. Nobody cares. Dog, I've seen videos where men walking their daughters into the bathroom, you know, making sure that they got to go in the bathroom and make sure there ain't no dude in there because you got penises inside women. These people are weirdos, bruh. Like, weirdos. The fact that you are a man and you want to put on women's clothes is weird. But cool, okay. You want to play dress up? Cool. But the fact that you want to go in female private spaces, you're a weirdo. I don't care what you say. I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't give a fuck. That's weird. That's weird. If I got a daughter and I'm at the mall with my daughter and I go walk in the mall and it's a fucking dude in the bathroom, like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. And mind you, this dude is a gay man. He's a gay man. That's why he don't care. He don't care. He don't have no children. He don't care. Kamala, she don't have no children. A lot of these people don't have family. They don't. And that's why they don't care. Because they can't relate.
You know, there
Straight
may be
weirdo.
some people who are affected by it. And if they are, I'm sorry that happens. But happens. But I just don't think that was an issue that focuses
So when
on
you see,
common
for
sense, I think
example,
it was
in
just
the
something that
Paris
was exploited.
Olympics, when you saw N.G.L.A, an Algerian boxer who had been banned from the World Championships for testing positive for male chromosomes, when you saw a young female Italian boxer quit after 40 seconds because she'd never been hit that hard and genuinely feared for her life, and N.G.L.A goes on to win gold medal at the Olympics, does that not ring an alarm bell for you, Don? I mean, do you not think that the reason we separate sexes in the Olympics is because males have an advantage? I mean, why would you not think that's important?
Do you want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Peirs, I'll tell you the truth about this. I heard about this story, but it's not something that I focus on. I'm not watching the Olympics like that. Maybe I'm different. I'm just not. I'm not that interested in watching everything. I like to watch the swimming. I like to watch the gymnasts. I'm not interested in boxing or any of that because I think it's a brutal sport anyway. So for me, it's just not that interesting. I'm sorry that anybody was hit that hard, but if you put yourself in the arena to be hit and someone hits you hard, then whose fault is
My bad. My mic was... Yo, it's people like him who is a problem, bro. It's a problem, bro. He's so... And look, he's going to say that I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched a little bit of it. He's going to say that he's not a Democrat or Republican, but you get out in the streets every day, all the time, fighting for Democrats. Going against Trump and everything that he does, even if it's something that's okay. This dude is saying that it's okay for this girl to get punched in the face by a man in the Olympics. She fought her whole life to get to the Olympics. This is what they do. They fight to get to the Olympics, to become pros. The elite level. Mind you, the Olympics is every 4 years. And then to get to that point and have to go against a biological man. That's why you got men's sports and women's sports. Because if it was the same, if we were equal, it wouldn't be that. It would be women playing with men. But it's not equal, and we know that. And only people with brains know that. It's a clip of Serena Williams talking about this. Because they were trying to get her to agree with this whole woke mindset. And she like, what? She like, oh no, he would destroy me. I forget who said that if she went up against him, would she win? And she was like, oh no, he would destroy me. Because she's living in reality. She's living in Logic Land, not La La Land. This dude, Don Lemonhead, is in La La Land. He's a retard. Like, he's asking him a specific question about basically condemning men playing in women's sports, and he was telling him about this specific situation, and he's, I don't really watch boxing because I think it's a brutal sport. Nobody asked you that, motherfucker. Nobody asked you that, goofy.
Well, you expect to be hit by other women, not men.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know
when
who she expected
men
to be
hit
hit
women,
by.
we call it violence.
I'm sure whoever was in that competition understood who they were going into the ring with. And if you put yourself in that competition in the middle of a ring where punches are being thrown, then you can expect to get hit hard, whether it is a man or a woman. And that's all I have to say about that.
So you would have no objection to men fighting women in a boxing ring?
I did not say that. I just said that's all I have to say about that.
That's what you just said.
Isn't that the implication of what you're saying?
Bro, that's exactly what you just said.
No, I've said in many different ways. That's all I have to say about that.
Right.
These people are
I just
slaves,
trying to clarify what
bro.
you just said about the boxing. Are you saying it's okay for men to beat up women?
I think I've been very clear. That's all I have to say. I think I've been very clear to you. That's all I have to say.
Well, you
about
have.
it.
I'm just a bit startled by what
back if you don't understand.
No, I'm just startled by what I think I just heard, which is you seem to think it's okay for men to hit women in a boxing ring. Is that what you said? Clarify if you didn't.
I didn't say. I don't think it's okay for men to hit women anywhere.
So why would it be okay in a boxing ring?
Well, again, I didn't say it's okay in a boxing ring. I just said that's all I have to say about it. I don't think it's okay for men to hit women
So
anywhere.
then it sounds like you agree with me that biological men should not be competing against women in a boxing ring.
Peirs, no matter how hard you try to...
Like, he thinks that he's trying to get you with this trick. No, you just said that, and then you're trying to act like you're not saying that. When you are, you're saying that, oh, she should have known that it was a man that was dressed up like a woman. Like, she should have known that, and you get punched, so it was okay. Like, bro, these people are slaves to the party, bro. Slaves on both sides, bro. Slaves,
I told
bro.
you, that's it.
It's not a gotcha question.
I'm not agreeing with you.
It's not a gotcha question.
I'm not saying it's a
That's
gotcha
all it's
question.
about.
I'm just
He
saying
just
that
doesn't
I
want to
am
agree
done
with
with
Peirs
this
Morgan.
particular conversation. I don't think that it is
Goofy.
productive. I've said what I said, and I'm not changing it. I don't agree with you. That's it.
But if you were doing your old show at CNN, you would have listened to your own response and gone, what exactly did he mean by that?
I probably would have said, okay, that's what you said, and then I would move on.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, right.
You've criticised
these
the
people
MAGA
are
right for turning
fucking hypocrites,
Charlie Kirk
bro.
into a martyr. You said if a black man on the left went around saying what Kirk said, the right wouldn't consider him a hero. It's an interesting point. Let's take a listen.
Saying white women do not have brain processing power and are stealing jobs from black men, the right would fucking lose their minds. Mark Lamont Hill, Roland, Michael Eric Dice. Let's just say these brothers, or Bakari Sellers, or someone like that. If they went around saying some shit like that, they would be canceled immediately. They would be fired. People would scrub them from their whatever business that they work for. Or if they said, when I get on a plane and I see a white pilot, I'm like, damn, we're going to, I'm worried.
It's interesting because I've seen that blow up a lot in the last few days. So I went back and actually watched exactly what Charlie Kirk
Where are you
said.
watching all this? I haven't seen any of this blow up that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's been everywhere. Everyone's been showing clips of Charlie Kirk all week on social media.
I have not seen it. I guess maybe I'm just not on social media.
I mean, what's interesting is when you watch it all in context, it's a discussion that is prompted by the fact that Joy Reid, who you know well, had admitted she only got into Harvard because of DEI. So he said it all in the context of her revealing that, and which I think changes the impact of what he was saying. He wasn't just coming out with this. He was saying, there's Joy Reid admitting that she only got into Harvard because of DEI.
What's your question?
So my question is, you've cited that example of him just unilaterally saying black women don't have the brain processing power and so on.
Listen to the
But when you
retard.
actually watch the whole clip in context, that's not what he said.
You're making my point about the clip before, and which is the same point about the clip now that you played of me, where the context is explained, which is he was talking about not only Joy Reid, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. And it wasn't DEI that they were referring to. They were having discussions about affirmative action and about.
Bro, hold on, bro. What's the difference? What's the difference, bro? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Because I like to be accurate. Okay. Affirmative action refers to policies and practices designed to address and remedy the effects of past and present discrimination against marginalized groups. These active proactive efforts are meant to ensure that people from underrepresented backgrounds, including certain racial or ethnic minorities, women, individuals with disabilities, and covered veterans have equal access to opportunities. Cool. Fine. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they used to always say that, we all didn't start at the same point and we need to be on equal playing fields. The whole point in what he's saying is the whole point in what he's saying is okay. Hold on, let me make sure everything is good. But what he's saying that because it's he brought this clip up that he was talking about with Charlie Kirk, and one of my best friends, he sent me a clip of Charlie Kirk because I could tell my man's really didn't really fuck with Charlie Kirk, or whatever. He obviously wasn't like all of these crazy people, saying that, but to a degree he was basically saying, his rhetoric got him killed or whatever the case may be. Okay, cool. But he sent me a clip on that very topic that they're talking about. And in the clip, Charlie Kirk, and mind you, it's a clip and they cut it up. And it sounds like he's basically saying that, black women took white women's jobs and, and whatever. So the whole point of what he's saying is that these policies that are being put in place, like DEI, is not getting people in these roles that they're playing because of them earning it or because of, the work that needed to be put in to get to that point. A lot of people are getting into these colleges just because they're black and they're trying to meet these DEI quotas and whatever the case may be. So being skeptical to get on a plane because you might have that in your head that, I hope that this pilot isn't a DEI hire, then I don't see what's wrong with that, But at the end of the day, listen, bro, it's 2025, bro. Everybody everybody was fighting for equal rights, and we have that now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can bring up the argument of, white people started out, they had a better start than we did. It's not an argument I'm going to argue. Cool, fine. But are we going to continue to bitch and complain about somebody's start, or are you just going to be the generation, be the guy who starts now to build generational wealth for your family? Or are you going to continue to protest in the street and bitch about things that aren't going to change? You're going to complain about reparations and all of this dumb shit. That's just dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. We all have the access to an education, to go to college, to start your own business, all of these different things. And more importantly, coming together, you know?
Qualified people, qualified women of color who were offered opportunities or given opportunities that they may not have been given if it were not for affirmative action. And nothing to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so what he said, and I watched the clip, he said that what they were admitting to is that they were somehow a DEI hire and so on, and about brain processing power. I would suggest that you go back and listen to the clip that clip in context of what he was saying. He clearly said what he said, and I guess because of political ideology or because of bias, people are trying to interpret it and make it into something else. That is not what he said. Okay, he was very clear about the brain processing or lack of brain processing power for black women, or for those black women.
With Charlie Kirk's death, a lot of people on the left have come out gleefully celebrating what happened. A lot of people have been posting stuff on social media, very happy. And they've turned out to be, teachers, professors, doctors, nurses. I mean, people in extraordinary positions of power over other human beings. What should happen to those people?
Well, I think we should look at every circumstances. It should be taken on the circumstances should be taken on their own merit, and what should happen to them should be taken, on individual merit. We should look at each of them. Now, I don't believe that anyone should be celebrating anybody's death at all, ever. And I don't think anyone should be celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. We know, and you know, Peirs, that freedom of speech does come with consequences, and there are limits, there are limitations to freedom of speech. And if you work for a private company, they have the right to fire you or discipline you for whatever it is.
So why are they calling all of these people that are getting fired for making comments about Charlie Kirk, celebrating and all of this stuff? Why are they calling it cancel culture, and why are they blaming Trump for it when these private businesses, these employers, are firing employees that work for them for making comments? How is that cancel culture? And I'm gonna get into this in this next video. We're gonna play it after this because I'm just gonna play a couple more.
Is that they want, if you break the rules, their codes of conduct, then you have to suffer the circumstances. So look. I 100% unequivocally believe that no one should be celebrating anything, and if any of those people broke the rules of their employer, their codes of conduct, then they should be disciplined or fired if it warrants it.
Do you agree?
But I don't believe in canceling people.
Right.
I think there's a lot of cancellation going on the right now, and I'm not comfortable with it.
Do you feel?
I wasn't comfortable with it on the left either.
Right. Do you feel you were a victim of cancel culture at CNN?
Probably. I don't think. I look at everything as an opportunity. Probably yes. I'm sure that I was a victim of cancel culture, but I would say mostly on the right for cancel culture.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what led to you leaving CNN. Let's take a look at the clip.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that live, and I was like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" If you had a do-over,
big stupid,
would you say that again? I mean, what led you to say that?
Okay, Peirs, let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, but just so the audience knows, and I hope you don't cut this out, when I asked you what subjects you wanted to talk about, you know what you said to me? You said, I want to talk to you about freedom of speech in America and the response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview. You have invited me on many times, and I tell you, Peirs, I know you. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels. And so when you said I'm not going to be involved in a panel, I agreed to come on your show. But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear,
rather than try to ambush me with something.
Just to be clear, just to be clear, you and I haven't had any conversation about your appearance here. You're talking about my team talking to you?
Yeah, no, and I saw you, Peirs, in a restaurant, and I said, hey, Peirs, good to see you. Yeah. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels.
Right.
And I said the same thing to your bookers.
There's only one of you.
And so when I asked you, right. Okay, and so, yes, and I said that's why I agreed to do it. But when you asked me, or when your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have the text messages, what do you want to cover? Yeah. Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being ambushed. But let me answer your question.
Hang on one second. No, Don, hang on 1 second.
I don't want to be ambushed.
Be crystal clear about what's just happened. You brought up the subject of cancel culture. I asked you, did you feel your departure from CNN was an example of that? And you answered the question. And I think it's perfectly reasonable.
And I answered the question.
Perfectly reasonable in that if you'd said to me, I don't want to talk.
He's upset because he played the video. He's upset.
But it's fine. Sorry. You said what you're going to say. By the way, we don't.
Disingenuous. I don't like arguing like this. I'm not going to get into an argument with you, Peirs. I think that's completely disingenuous, and I think anyone watching that.
What are you talking about?
And so, if you will allow me, please.
What are you
stop
talking about?
Me, okay. Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're being a complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
He say you're being a complete
Well, that's very kind and respectful of you.
It wasn't intended to be kind or respectful.
I don't like the ad hominem attacks. I could respond in kind,
but
I think that I'm above that. I'm not going to do that, Peirs. That's not who I am.
I don't understand why you're playing the victim card when you yourself mentioned cancel culture.
Because Peirs. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me do this.
What are you going to do? Read out my team's messages to you?
Peirs? It should be embarrassing. Yeah, I can read out the team messages to you because I just think it's completely unfair, and you know that. I'm prepared to answer your question, and then I'm going to move on. I told you I'm prepared to talk about Charlie Kirk's death, the response to it, and cancel culture, and freedom of the press. And freedom of speech.
You were prepared to talk about cancel culture, or you weren't?
No, I'm not prepared.
You're not prepared to talk about
cancel culture. But that has. Oh my God, Peirs, could you stop interrupting me?
Not really. You're kind of exhausting me. It's ridiculous. Why would you react this way to a perfectly normal? Obviously, if you mention cancel culture, obviously it's rational and logical that I would ask you whether you.
So bring up you getting canceled, dickhead. Anyway, let's move on from that. Speaking of cancel culture, let's go on to one of the biggest retards on CNN, Abby Phillips, and her nightly news show, debating with others. Let's get into it. Goofy.
People around this country don't have a right to work for whoever you want to. You have a right to say what you want,
but you're
not
forgetting
to be
about the
employed by
threat, which Abby's going to play.
Here's the reason I want to play this, okay? Because I think we're willfully ignoring the threat, which was explicit. It wasn't implicit, it was explicit. Listen to what he actually said.
They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
It'd be a shame what happens to your nice network. It'd be a shame.
So for context, the FCC, I guess, regulates these news stations or whatever the case may be. Not 1,000% sure on that, but I believe so. And my whole thing is, bro, to be honest with you, it's needed because the bias on these news stations, period, across the board is crazy. And how much they lie. They lie so much, bro. They lie so much, it's like not even funny, bro. So why shouldn't you be held accountable, be taken off air, whatever the case may be? People can say what they want, but if you're on like Jimmy Kimmel, they're bitching about Jimmy Kimmel getting let go. Bro, what this Donald Trump, just because Donald Trump celebrates it, like, yeah, he deserves to, because they've been kicking Donald Trump back in for years. All of them. And they're still doing it. And it's got to come to a point where it's like, come on, bro. These networks, I know they got to be tired of it, bro. Listen, pardon me. Their ratings suck. It's a business at the end of the day. Even if you know, you might fuck with some of these shows or some of these people personally or whatever the case may be, it's still a business. So these people are in the business of making money. So if nobody is watching your show or people are leaving your show, then as an employer, it's like, yo, look, come on, it's got to be a straw. And, you know, I get some of the comments that some of these people be making and stuff like that. But, bro, what about all of the comments that were made before that were wrong? You know, all the Russia hoaxes and all of these hoaxes that they put on Donald Trump, all the lawfare that they use. Like, bro, they did so much to ruin Donald Trump. And they're just, the fact is, bro, they're just mad because in the end, Donald Trump won. This is all it boils down to.
That's a threat.
Well, and not only that, but then Donald Trump took to Truth Social and then said further, you know, that leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also terrible. Do it, NBC. I mean,
it will never end. But, you know, just worth noting, just a couple years ago, back in 2019, Brandon Carr, he tweeted this on a different topic. Should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the public interest. And yet, he is doing exactly that today.
They should, because
Where does
losers.
this end? Where does this?
No, this doesn't end, and I hope they keep going, because losers like you, Abby Phillips, push bullshit to the people and make people believe it. Just like Dame Dash. This is why I really wanted to play that interview, and I got to figure that whole thing out, and I will. I wanted to play that interview because one of the things that Dame Dash said on there to Charlemagne the God was that when you say things, you have a large audience, right? So when you say things and you say it with confidence as if it's true, people believe it. So then you have the public believing things that aren't true. So to that I understand. You know what I mean? And that's what this is all really about. It's the fact that if you reported accurate, real news, then, I mean, honestly, the public would be in an uprise about it. But the fact of the matter is, the only people that are even giving a fuck are fucking weirdos and people that are just extreme, bro. And these people lie so much, and they don't care. They'll still continue it. Somebody made a comment not too long ago. I think it was on Peirs Morgan. I forget his first name, but I know his last name is Turk or whatever the case may be. And he made a comment. He still says something about the Charlottesville hoax when it was debunked literally seconds after the clip that they played, saying there were fine people on both sides. And it's all they ran time and time again, making Trump seem like he was okay with, you know, white supremacists and people like that. When literally, if they just would have kept the clip going for 3 seconds, he said, and I'm not talking about white nationalists and neo-Nazis, I condemn them totally. But what do they do? They still kept doing it during the campaign. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all of them kept doing it, and these news stations too. So at the end of the day, yes, it has to be a point where it's like, yo, for the public's interest, meaning for the public to get accurate news and information, you have to have common sense, logic, and put out the truth, Abby. Crabby Abby, you weirdo. She make me mad, bro, because, bro, these people make us look so stupid. Like, they make us look so bad, bro. I'm going to be honest, bro. And people think these people are intelligent, smart. Oh, I got a degree.
And in your mind.
Your degree don't make you smart, goofy.
You are fully comfortable with the government saying, if you don't do this, if you don't get this person off the air who said something that was wrong or that you did not like, we are going to drop the hammer on you.
They never said that.
No, I didn't like it when...
First of all, they never said that. They never said that.
When the Biden administration worked with big tech during COVID.
Why are you defending it?
I'm not defending this. I'm saying right now, if ABC comes out and says we were forced to do this, we don't want to do this, I think this is part of a larger business decision on their part that goes back to what Scott said before about the affiliates.
ABC.
This is a failing industry in terms of late night television.
I get it. Listen,
this is their excuse. This
linear
is their
television,
reason.
failing industry. The whole world understands that. But
it's always a
Nexstar
but.
has a very clear financial interest in not getting on the wrong side of that guy whose clip we just played, right? You don't see the problem with that?
And I think right now they're looking at the larger business circumstances, and they're hoping that people like you and others would point that direction instead of focusing
you
on
at
the
least see an ethical consideration for Carr, a conflict of interest for Carr, some sense of his position as a government official to make that kind of threat?
Since when is the FCC an attack dog for any political party?
Well, it has been against Howard Stern. It has been against others in the past, which I also object to. There is a slice out of our First Amendment for broadcast, which I think is wrong. And it's based on wrong decisions years and years ago about precious airwaves and about going into the home and so on and so forth. If we believe in the First Amendment, we believe in the First Amendment. And now we have this fascinating thing happening on the right
hilarious.
where you have Ted Cruz defending...
It's so hilarious that it's so funny watching this, right? Because when I actually started getting into these like politics and shit, because I never was into it, just like most people, right? And I started going back and watching things from 2015, 12, 11, 8, and all types of videos. And specifically during Joe Biden, and he started to mention it with how their administration literally was reaching out to Mark Zuckerberg and telling him to basically censor certain content. And now that basically, and the crazy part is, Joe Biden's administration, literally, Mark Zuckerberg was under testimony and he admitted that they contacted him and basically told him to do what they said. And now you got employers making business decisions, and they're turning this into, Trump is trying to, everything is Trump's fault. Just because Trump don't like these dudes that have been talking about him for literally over a decade straight, nonstop. Their whole last 10 years of being employed at these late night at these stations have been all surrounded by Donald Trump. Talking about Donald Trump. And it's so funny them hearing them say anything about censorship, the First Amendment, cancel culture, seeing them say anything about it is funny. It's just
hate
hilarious.
Speech because it doesn't want his speech taken off. And so where does free speech, is your question, Abby, where is free speech here then? Where is that line? How do we know where that line is now?
Well, I think it's similar to the
Yo, was that Montel Jordan,
this topic, to people who said horrific, awful things after the assassination of Charlie Kirk last week. Now, I think it's awful, but they have a right to say that. But I also think employers have a right to say, not just in this instance, but in so many others we documented, if you say something that's inconsistent with the principles of our organization, be it a college, a business, a nonprofit, we don't want you
Do you think Fox should take Brian Kilmeade off the air for what he said about homeless people?
I think in all those cases, they have a right to do that. Whether
do you think they should? I'm asking for your judgment. You talked about a critic before. Or you're a critic now. Do you think Fox should fire
I
Brian
didn't say that they had to take
Kilmeade?
Jimmy Kimmel off. I said they have a right to. In each of these cases,
Do you think they should at Fox?
I'm telling you, they have a right to. That's what I'm talking about.
But you continue to talk about how it's a business decision, but the reality is that whether it is a threat, whether it is Donald Trump also threatening to go after organizations just because they have different views than him, he is threatening to go after the far left. All of these aren't business decisions. This is the federal government that is using their power in order to silence the media and people that disagree with them. And I ain't
even gonna lie, bro. I can't watch no more of this shit, bro. They lie so much. It's retarded, bro. It's crazy. Like, you're literally sitting here blaming Donald Trump for, I think it's ABC getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel. Stephen Goldberg, the same thing. Bro, it's a business decision. The business parted ways with them. Now, whether Donald Trump on the low had some people make some, so what, bro? These people have been, it's so funny that they are, you know, oh, he's using lawfare and he should go after every one of y'all. Fuck y'all. Listen, bro, eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, bitch. Fuck it. He should, bro. I'm just being honest. Not in a way like a malicious way just because, but just because these people are frauds, bro. Just what it is. It's sad, man. It really is. They lie so much. It's crazy. And because Jimmy Kimmel got fired from his employer, they're blaming Trump. They're saying it's Trump's fault. Because they didn't like what Jimmy Kimmel was saying about him. Anyway, let's get into this Destiny. Now, this dude is a product of Democrats in the left. He's an extremist. He's what you like. If the left, you know, had a baby, this was born. This was him.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies
I hate,
or whatever.
Yo, listen.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Okay, because they.
I hate the way his mouth moves. Like, everything about this dude is so weird and retarded. Like, just look at him. Weirdo.
No problem making fun of Paul.
Be honest. And I don't mean this in no malicious way. If you heard anything that had anything to do with a fucking serial killer, a school shooter or something, and his picture popped up, you wouldn't be surprised.
Pelosi, the
Just
entire
saying.
world would be better off if these people were permanently removed.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
My YouTube is going to get permabanned soon because I got like broad demonetized yesterday for that didn't even cite a video. So, I don't know. I'll appeal it. We'll see what happens.
Goofy ass.
Nice.
The left talks compassion, but when a conservative is murdered, they shrug, laugh, mock it. Destiny won't condemn it. The Dems twist the numbers, and they're un-F America.
Yo, shout out to Melanie King, man. Make sure y'all go tap in with her and subscribe to her channel at Melanie King on YouTube. Dope content.
The clowns are right there. Today,
and make sure
I'm
y'all
going to roll
subscribe
the
to my
receipts.
shit.
Cox has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this.
I'm sorry, excuse me, when?
Yesterday, he said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college? Not
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said
I do
is not
know
true.
the very reality is the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk.
Let me just ask you. Not true.
Let me just
There's
ask
no
you.
way
Well,
to deal with it. You're living in a delusional.
My whole thing is his own family said that. Now, I'm getting into all of this different information about this Charlie Kirk situation, but this argument is based off of information that we have received now. So I'm only talking about the information that we receive now. I think this is a bigger situation than we ever can expect. And, you know, it's information out there on X and everything. And we're going to tap into it.
Governor of lying.
But
If
this
he
dude
turns
is a
out to have
retard.
been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So
The
you
fact
won't
that he
condemn
can
the
go on
murder of
Fox and
Charlie
Friends-
Kirk until Donald Trump says
Peirs,
something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot
Why
tell
would you
his
expect
side
anybody,
to calm down?
Destiny?
You
What-
can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why
Okay,
can't
can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think-
Trump say that?
why do you
Why
think-
can't Trump say
behavior
that? I feel like
contingent
I'm
on Donald Trump?
insane right now.
Why do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me
Why
ask
is
a
that?
question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the
Yeah,
opposing
Destiny.
political party.
Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the
the
fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in.
audience.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies or whatever the okay? Because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms. Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again. It's exclusively bad stuff that happens.
Are you kidding me? A man is gunned down for his beliefs, and this guy shrugs like it's a math problem. I won't say it's bad until Trump tells me to calm down. What kind of moral coward waits for a MAGA cue before calling murder wrong? All right, y'all, quick pause, because if you're watching this, you're exactly the kind of person who's going to love what I've got in my store. We're talking Tastes Like Liberal Tears mug, plain and simple. Listen, Destiny has thousands of impressionable kids tuned in. What message does it send when your cult leader essentially says, depends on who? It normalizes violence. It trains rage. And then the left, they gasp at the rise of extremism like they just discovered the weather. Like, please. They manufacture outrage when it's convenient and then weaponize silence when it suits them. And can we be real here? When these lefty influencers scream deplatform the right, they're not arguing any kind of policy. No. They're calling for a digital purge. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool, just erase them. That's not debate. That's digital authoritarianism dressed in woke pajamas.
We've all heard the vile statements that Destiny made about Charlie's life being taken from him. But did you know that the guy who was speaking to Charlie when he was unalived was a guy who was part of Destiny's Unfuck America's tour? If you haven't heard of Unfuck America, the Unfuck America tour, look who that is, was scheduled to follow Turning Point around and counter all of Turning Point's events. That's why this guy was speaking to Charlie when Charlie was unalive. Now, of course, if you go to unfuckamericatour.com, you'll see this message pop up, and they're talking about how disturbed they are about what happened to Charlie. They're saying that they're grieving, and please give them space while they can grieve. Again, Destiny is their lead creator, and he's making these comments about Charlie and people who think like Charlie. Everyone who works for Turning Point should get a restraining order against him immediately so that he or anyone who works for him is not allowed to show their ass up at these Turning Point events. I've noticed that not a lot of you guys know about this, and why do I know about this? Because one of these people that's part of this tour follows me. She actually seems quite fucking reasonable. She seems like a decent person. That's how I know about this. I'm just saying, I don't understand why, and I guess it's because no one knows, but this needs to be like mainstream news. What the actual...
So the guy who's busy cheering for censorship had his people standing over Charlie when he died. Now the tour posts a sad little puff piece asking for privacy. Like, give me a break. You can incite moral violence and then play mourner when the body hits the ground. I'm telling you, if Turning Point doesn't get a restraining order and security in place, that's going to be on them, because this is real. And I think the scandal is the cover up. We're sad while still cheering the idea of erasure. That's cancel cult logic. Do the dirty work, then cry when you get called out. And then these clowns also spin their victim narrative. This is the left's favorite trick in the book. Okay? You've got to watch this next clip because they weaponize stats to gaslight you every single day. Take a listen.
J.D. Vance lied today on the Charlie Kirk show when he said the statistics are clear that this is a left-wing problem. It's the exact reverse, right? Exact reverse. You look at the ADL Center for Extremism, which looked at 444 people killed by extremists between 2013 and 2022, 75% of them by the right. You look at the University of Maryland study that was done for their terrorism center, which found that from 1948 to 2018, right-wing extremists more likely to carry out violence than left.
Hold up. This nigga said from 1948 to 2018. That's weird. Anyway, can anybody name? I can't see because I don't even know. Like, this is why I say, bro, this whole politics party shit is weird, bro. People are slaves, my nigga. Slaves, bro. It's so weird, bro. Seeing all of this shit, bro, it's sick. It really is. Like, this shit, bro. There's so much shit running through my head, bro. Let me get back to the video, bro.
extremists. You look at the head of the FBI who Donald Trump appointed, Chris Wray, who said the #1 domestic terror threat in this country comes from religious and racially motivated extremists, specifically white supremacists. You can keep going. The National Institute for Justice found that the majority of incidents since 1990, violent terroristic acts were right-wing extremists. The single biggest day of political violence, Chris, in our lifetimes in this country was January 6th, 2021, when right-wing extremists attacked the Capitol, injured police officers. They were ideologically motivated. You and I agreed it was an insurrection at the time. So it's business.
Hold on. So you telling me, right, that January 6th was worse than all of the shit that happened in Minnesota with George Floyd? Okay.
For Vance to go on TV or go online and say the exact opposite of what both the official statistics say and the think tanks say. All of our evidence tells us. I mean, there was a Democratic lawmaker, Chris, I don't know how many times we have to say this, who was murdered in her home with her husband in June by a Trump supporter. And Donald Trump today said, who?
Notice the pattern? They trot out the fancy agencies like props in a Broadway show, big words, bigger panic, but they pick and choose. BLM riots? Vast destruction. Antifa violence, swept under the rug. They inflate, they mass sage, and they cherry pick narrative engineering, not truth seeking. If you care about facts, you'll notice what they hide. If you only care about controlling the conversation, well, you'll love their spreadsheets. But don't take my word for it. J.D. Vance says what the rest of America sees. Listen.
And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
And make no mistake, he's not flattering the right. He's pointing to reality. Sure, weirdos exist everywhere, but who's on the streets smashing windows? Who's organizing violence? Who's cheering when a conservative leader is assassinated? The mob on the left. That's the human footage the polling houses, all of these polling places, they ignore. Real Americans see it. Mass thugs, Democrat placards, and the same media that whips them up writing think pieces the next day. You can spin stats all you want, but people live the consequences. Real families, real funerals, which is why normal people react like the next clip. Raw, unfiltered emotion. That's what the left refuses to understand.
If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said.
That's not rhetoric. That's human. Real Americans don't parse into a PowerPoint presentation while their loved ones are in the ground. They demand justice. The left treats sorrow like a checkbox. Well, we'll analyze this. Like, so spare me the both sides lectures. We're not debating a poll. We're dealing with bodies. And while real people burn with righteous anger, the influencers and hacks have another stage to play. The censorship sob story. Watch this irony.
I feel like my YouTube is going to get permabanned soon because I got like broad demonetized yesterday for that I didn't even cite a video. So, I don't know. I'll appeal it. We'll see what happens, but I mean, if Kimmel is getting canceled from ABC, I don't know.
Oh, the crocodile tears. Guys, the very people who cheered the erasing of like Candace, Tucker, Benny Johnson, anyone that's inconvenient, well, now they're gasping when the axe swings to them. My YouTube got demonetized. Like, cry me a river. You wanted the digital gulag? And now you want sympathy when you get a taste. That's karma, served piping hot. So let's stitch this all together. They cheer when a conservative is canceled or even killed at this point. Then they weaponize agencies and stats to protect the narrative. And then when consequences land on them, they clutch their pearls. It's performative morality, and it's rotten. This isn't about debate. It's about power. Erase the other side, rewrite history, control the narrative. So don't ever forget, the left loves to posture about compassion. But when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, a portion of their movement just shrugged. Some cheered, and their influencers couldn't even bring themselves to say the obvious, that murder is wrong. Of course, they would say it, but they had to do it while checking the political wind first. They twist the numbers, they gaslight the public, and they try to turn you into the villain for pointing all of this out.
Yo, shout out to Melanie King. dope content. I want to get into this because I want to try something too. I want to see if this other way of me playing this video will work. But let's get into this Cam response real quick. So, I played the video yesterday of Cam, respectfully, basically kicking Adrian Broner out of the It Is What It Is studios because of comments he was making about Stat. And he gave an update in this video about that whole situation.
What's good, everybody? I just wanted to talk about the AB shit real quick. I didn't even address it yesterday, anything like that, but I just wanted to put some context to what happened. Because I see a few people like, yo, Kim, how you loved it? How you say you loved it and kicked it? Look, I didn't just meet AB that day. I've known AB for some years, and I consider him a friend, to be totally honest with you. Not the friend that you be like, yo, let's get some bitches, yo, let's get this money. Nah. One of them friends where you be like, yo, how you doing? When we bump into each other, mutual respect, and we got some mutual friends in Ohio. So that's first and foremost. And when I seen him walking through the casino, I said, yo, hey, come on the show. It wasn't like he was booked to come on the show or anything like that. And he came on the show. And I seen he was a little tipsy, but he was definitely coherent. If you watch that whole episode, very witty, very funny, quick on his feet. I think he has a great career in television. If he doesn't this anymore, I think he's very funny, witty, etc. And he's a friend of mine. But the context of the whole thing was basically if your friend comes to your house and he keeps flirting with your 23-year-old sister after you ask him, stop flirting with my 23-year-old sister, and he doesn't listen, you got to get out of my house. That's basically the whole context to the whole shit. It's not a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. It wasn't a proud moment. It's more of a, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? It isn't embarrassing. It isn't proud. It's more like a damn moment. Because I know AB's talent, and I know what he could do. And I'm like, yo, bro, this dude could really be one of them dudes. He's one of the few boxers that know how to fight, and not only know how to fight when he's in shape, he knows how to sell it. A lot of boxers can box and can't talk. A lot of boxers can talk but can't fight. He has the kind of the total package when it comes to that pause. But you can't come in my house and flirt with my 23-year-old sister and we ask you to stop and you don't stop. It's even parts where we edited out where I said stop taping. Yo, you got to stop. Even that didn't air on the show. And he said, cool, but then he didn't stop. So that's just basically the context of what happened. And it was some things, that's what I did want to say. It was some things that I said when he left the room purely out of frustration. It's like your man, he's super duper good in what he does, but he just can't get it together. So when he walked out the room, what I said was more out of frustration, like, this nigga, I'm not going to repeat what I said, but it's more like, it's why this can't get together type vibe in my brain. But I appreciate everybody, whether you liked it or didn't like it, but it was just purely, you can't come in my house and flirt with my sister that's 23 years old and we asked you not to. But I'm rooting for AB, I'm praying for him, and I hope he does get together because I think he's an extraordinary talent.
I said the same thing, though. I said that at the end of the day, I think that it just looked like AB was going through some shit. You know what I mean? And he said he looked a little tipsy, so AB was probably, you know what I mean? Probably was drinking or something. I don't know. And Cam and them shoot their show at night, too, so it's not like odd for him to be drinking at that time because they shoot their show at night and air it in the morning. So it's that whole situation is it's just, it's sad though, because you could tell he fucked with him. You could tell because when it happened, he's like, yo, he's still doing what he said, but he was like, yo, I'm gonna still pay you for your time. I'm like, yo, bro, it ain't no problem. Like I fuck with you, like, you know what I mean? But like I told you. So, I don't think he meant no ill intentions, I seen people making videos talking about, Cam getting backfired for this, that, and the third, but bro, he, like, what else could what else could Cam could have done in that situation? Like, to be honest with you, what else could he have done? He paid him for his time, right? Because he came on the show with Spare the Moment, right? The whole entire time, he literally was being on some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Making comments. They laughed at it a few times. Not once, not twice, a few times. And not only did he make remarks to Stat, he made remarks to Arabia too. And then he told Stat to Stat, can you stop smiling? What? Like, come on, bro. He wilded out, bro. It's no way you could feel bad for Cam kicking him off this show. You know, and at the end of the day, bro, it's still, he paid him for his time, and it's still business as usual. So, you know, yeah, they aired it and showed the whole thing, but, you know, for the most part, you know, but, you know, I don't know, man. But I just know that I don't think he meant no ill intentions, you know. But I want to see something. I want to see if I can play this like this. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I might start using this, to be honest with you. I might start using it. Look, hold on. Hold up. Why is, let me see. Why is, let me see. Why is that? Let me see.
I'm trying to tell you what my point was. Okay. My teeth were really good. Right. No, I bet the.
He said my teeth. Yo, why isn't this popping up? Let me see something. All right. All right, here we go. All right. Do that. I might start using this screen. I want to play a little bit of this video because I want to see if it's going to shut my. Hold on. It's because I don't know if it's is it playing? Hold on, let me restart this, man. God damn it. All right, so it's gonna cut off. That's what it's telling me. So I don't know. I wanted to try this to see, but I might start playing my videos. I kind of like this little setup, but I just wanted to see if that was gonna work. I figure that shit out, man. It's blowing my shit because for whatever reason, it's just, you know, and I don't want to keep stopping the video. I mean, I guess I could, but it's just too much work to stop the video and then wait for it to clear and then play the video and then, you know, it's just doing too much. So I gotta figure that out. I don't know if it's just a program that I'm using, you know, streaming on or what. I don't know, but it's stupid. But anyway, I just was trying it out anyway. But I wanted to play that interview though, man. That shit was funny. It's funny. But the thing. But see, I don't like the thing I don't like about, you know, I know as an interviewer you're gonna ask to talk about, but it seems like when they interviewing Dame, they only want to focus on negative shit with him. You know, like they want to continue to keep this narrative of, you know, Dame Dash is broke and Dame Dash is this and Dame Dash going to court for this and that. And he was breaking down a lot of stuff with him filing bankruptcy, Chapter 7, and, you know, just different things. But, like, I agree with him when he was just saying about putting out these narratives and sounding confident when you say it and, you know, Like, Charlamagne made some good points. They all made some good points, but at the same time, you know, like, well, we got to do better as a people, man, as a culture, man, you know. But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. Wasn't crazy, man, but, you know, hope you got something out of it, man. You know, help me, yo, I'm on my journey to get 500 subscribers. You know, y'all want to support the channel, make sure y'all like, share, but also subscribe to the channel and help me get to that 500 mark so I can get monetized on YouTube. I truly do appreciate it, man. Until tomorrow, man, it's your boy SL550. This is the N.G.L.A. podcast. I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.